This is The Gorge. This is a podcast where my wife Sarah and I gorge ourselves on overanalyzing a game or game-related topic. This week we're talking about Pokemon for the Nintendo. Just all of Nintendo.
Any Nintendo game that you want.
Pick a Nintendo.
Pick one. Hi, Ben.
Hi, Sarah.
You ready to talk about Pokemon?
I'm always ready to talk
Oh,
about
hell
Pokemon.
yes. You know what I'm ready to do? I'm ready to say fuck. Because we can say fuck on this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the podcast where you can say fuck.
Fuck. Okay. So Pokemon. Ben, do you remember what your first experience with Pokemon was?
I was in elementary school, and all the cool kids were playing Pokemon. Red and Blue had come out, the show was out, the Game Boy Color had probably just been released.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that, well, the Pokemon games were one of those in-between games. Red and Blue were not actually Game Boy Color games. They were the weird in-between games where it was like they would play on a Game Boy or a Game Boy Color, and if you plugged them into a Game Boy Color, like a couple of colors would come up.
Yeah.
Like outlines of things would be in red or blue or whatever, but they weren't like the full color spectrum like a real Game Boy Color game. And I specifically remember really wanting the game and saving all my pennies, or really wanting a Game Boy, and saving whatever my allowances and everything. And my parents and I were on vacation somewhere. I don't even remember where. We might have taken a trip to DC or Williamsburg. No, it wouldn't have been Williamsburg because that's not that far. Maybe up to Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
And it was like, I had enough money for a Game Boy Color. I did not have enough money for a game. And
no!
And up to this point, anytime I'd ever gotten a new console, I'd never gotten a handheld because my dad always said they were crap. And he's like, the lighting on them is terrible and you can't see anything, the batteries run out. Like, my dad actually knew this shit about handhelds, like what garbage they were back then.
Yeah.
He's absolutely right.
Yeah.
But any console I'd ever gotten new had been in some kind of a bundle or used. So I had somehow always gotten a game with a console. And like in my childhood mind, I thought like, yeah, no, sure, it's gonna come with a game.
Oh no!
And I got myself really ramped up, and like it was one day on our vacation where we weren't really doing anything, and it's like, oh, there's a Walmart or a Target or something, and it's like, I want to go get a Game Boy Color. I have the money. I have this money saved up. I want a Game Boy Color. And my dad's sitting there like, you know, they'll have them in the stores like when we get back home. And he's trying to convince me, and I'm like, no, I'm going to buy it either way. So I want it now. And we get in there, and I even see that it doesn't come with the game, with any game. And I know I can't afford to buy Pokemon with it. And I'm just like, fuck it. And I buy it anyway and just have this Game Boy Color for the next like 5 days.
You got a break. You got a colorful break.
Yeah, so I have a Game Boy Color for like the next 5 days, just chilling. And I don't even remember. It's very possible my mom took so much pity on me that like a couple days into that, she was just like, no, I'm just going to buy this kid this game.
Aww.
So my very long story short, my very first Pokemon game was Pokemon Blue, because one of my other close friends had Red and told me to get Blue, and I don't know, I didn't have a will of my own at the time, so I was just like, all right, I guess I'll get Blue because you told me to.
So Pokemon Blue was actually my first game too, but I started off with the anime because I was super into Sailor Moon. And I just found out that Sailor Moon was an anime. It was made in Japan. And Pokemon was also an anime made in Japan. So obviously I was going to love it just as much.
Same thing, right?
Same exact thing, obviously. Well, I mean, I was right. I did love it. And then one of my mom's boyfriends came over to visit from another state.
While your dad was deployed.
Well, yeah, but that has nothing to do with it.
That's a true statement, but they were divorced, so
Yes.
it doesn't matter, but I'm trying to make it sound scandalous.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so my mom's boyfriend came over, and he really wanted me and my younger sister to like him, so he brought this box of just Pokemon shit. Like, there was the trading card games. There were 2 boxes each of those, the starter sets, and he brought over a copy of Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue.
Was your mom dating, like, a 20-year-old pizza delivery guy?
He was a lot younger than my mom.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I called that.
Yeah.
Because I don't expect I would not have expected anybody who was actually your mom's age to be like, yeah, Pokemon, it's the hot new shit. Get you a shiny. I don't know if shinies existed back then.
Oh, no, they didn't. I don't think. Wait, did they? No.
No.
But I just had the trading card game because I don't remember having a Game Boy Color until a few years later when I got Pokemon Yellow.
Well, how'd you get Blue? You said Pokemon Blue was the first one you had.
Yeah, I remember playing it. I think I borrowed somebody else's Game Boy. Because I do remember my very first starter was Bulbasaur, which I thought was weird because I thought you had to start with Squirtle because it was blue.
Right.
But no, my starter was Bulbasaur. Do you remember who your first starter was?
Squirtle.
Squirtle, yeah.
Of
course.
The squirting turtle.
The squirting turtle, man.
The squirrel turtle.
Squirrel.
Is actually what it is.
Squirting squirrel turtle.
Sure. That's why its tail's curled like that. You know that, right?
Yeah, because
he has a squirrel tail.
Yeah, because he's the squirrel turtle.
Yeah.
It's really fucking weird.
Yeah.
Pokemon's really weird. We're gonna say that a lot today.
Yeah.
Alright, so Ben, do you want a really quick history of Pokemon?
Oh, sure.
Alright, Pokemon was introduced to the world in 1996.
In feudal Japan, Japanese warlords often pitted their animal pets against each other instead of doing real battles that cost human lives.
We're actually gonna get to that later.
Alright, cool.
And I'm being dead serious.
Great. I genuinely hate it when I'm fucking around and you tell me, well, you're not that far off, Ben.
It was created by Game Freak and published by Nintendo. It originally started out as Pocket Monster Red and Green. Satoshi Tajiri and Ken Sugimori, the writer and illustrator respectively, worked under the guidance of Shigeru Miyamoto to create the now infamous monster collecting and trading games that is second only to Mario in its popularity as a gaming franchise. It is number 2.
Makes sense.
The games follow an RPG style where you play as a protagonist character who is just beginning their journey to collect and train monsters. This is for anybody who's lived under a rock for the last 20 years.
Gotcha.
You battle the best in the land and take down an evil mega corporation in the process because all JRPGs have the exact same plot. The original games had 151 Pokemon you could catch, and today that number is well past 700. I did not.
What is it? How many Pokemon are there? .com or something.
Oh
like that.
Yeah, there is that website.
It's
isn't there?
It's the greatest website because it is exactly what you ask it to be, and it is just a white screen with black numbers, and it is just the number of how many Pokemon there are.
801.
801. It is, yeah. What is it actually? What's the actual URL?
HowmanyPokemonAreThere.com.
Okay, perfect. I couldn't remember if that was exactly what it was or if it was short.
Updated November 22nd, 2016, which is when Sun and Moon was released. Okay, so in the US, we finally got the games in 1998.
What was the year that you said?
1996 is when it came to Japan.
Oh, okay, that's only 2 years.
Yeah.
Considering mid-90s, I feel like 2 years for something to get imported, translated and imported and brought over. And not only that, but it's a handheld game and not a full-blown console game. 2 years is actually pretty good. That's pretty quick.
Yeah. And fun fact about that 2-year period, the localization team wanted to change the designs of some of the Pokemon because they were afraid American kids wouldn't like the cutesy designs.
Right, because we all love Sonic. Because the reason Sega America succeeded at all is because they went edgy against the Japanese
See,
businessmen.
that's the fucking thing about the 90s, right? Everything had to be edgy.
But not Nintendo.
Not Nintendo.
Like Sega, and not even like yeah, that's just an American thing because it was specifically Sega America was like, we're gonna flip the middle finger to Nintendo in our ad campaign, and the Japanese side of Sega was like, don't you fucking dare! Like, what are you talking about? That's nuts. And Sega America's like, we're gonna flip you the middle finger first, and then we're gonna flip Nintendo the middle finger. And guess what? That's how they the Genesis succeeded only because of that, basically. Because they went nutso in their ads, and I wouldn't be surprised if somehow along the way that translated down, and the Nintendo of Japan were like, Sega's kind of against all odds competing with us, if not kicking our ass a little bit. It must be because Americans love that cool, edgy Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well, it wasn't even just with video games. They changed the name of the first Harry Potter book because they thought American kids wouldn't think it was cool. The original name of the first book was The Philosopher's Stone. They changed it to The Sorcerer's Stone.
Are you sure it's because they wouldn't think it was cool?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They wouldn't think it was cool enough. It wouldn't catch our attention because edgy 90 kids need psychedelic 8-balls and radical skeletons doing hang loose bro with their backwards baseball caps. Why were we like that?
I don't know.
Well, anyway.
Because it was a high period, man. It was a great time.
We were, yeah.
I'm only now, I feel like I'm behind the times on 90s nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool to be nostalgic about the 90s, 2 years ago. And I'm just now kind of you know what? I am nostalgic about the 90s. The 90s were kind of alright.
We weren't in a recession, that's for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Let's not get political on this.
So...
History.
Yes.
1998.
Yes, I was there. I'm really glad they didn't change the designs of the original Pokemon, though.
Oh, so they did not actually change any of them.
Correct. They wanted to, but they decided against it.
I mean, they fat-shamed Pikachu.
They did! They fat-shamed Pikachu! Bring back Fat Pikachu! God, Fat Pikachu is the best. Okay, so the first games were Red and Green, with Blue being a special edition later on for the Game Boy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. This took place in the Kanto region, which is based on real-life Kanto region in Japan.
Okay.
Also of note, Pokemon Yellow from 1998 is a special edition of the original Red and Green for Game Boy that was tweaked to include references to the anime and had your starter set as Pikachu.
Now, was that just an American release, or did the yellow one also come out in Japan?
It also came out in Japan.
Did Japan get 4 Pokemon ones?
Yes.
First gen?
Yes.
That's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember a lot more about Pokemon Yellow than I did about Pokemon Blue. Probably because I was really into the anime, and when I heard it follows the anime, I was like, fuck yes, give me that. And I got it for Christmas with a purple Game Boy Color.
Huh.
And I know your dad said that handhelds were shit back then, but...
Well, no, and that was the thing. Even once I got the Game Boy Color, and and I got a game that was actually a full color game, and he looked at it, he was like, oh, okay, that's a lot better than the way it came. And the fact that it only takes 2 batteries and not 4.
Yeah.
Or 8, I think a Game Gear takes.
Oh, God.
A Game Gear eats through batteries.
That's true.
And it's a lot of batteries. It's either 4, 6, or maybe even 8. It might be 6.
I was gonna say for long car rides or plane flights, it's a lot easier to just put in new batteries than it is to have to go recharge your Nintendo DS.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's fair. But,
yeah.
I mean, if you're doing that, you plan. I'll see that, but if you're planning a long car ride, you just buy a car charger.
Yeah, that's
that
true.
Takes up less space than carrying a carton full of batteries.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that's an issue. I mean, my parents threw a friggin' portable VCR in the back of our car to keep me satiated when we drove down to Florida.
I just got coloring books.
Yeah, well, you had a sister.
Yeah.
I didn't have somebody taking up the seat for the VCR spot. That's the VCR seat.
The VCR was your brother.
Yeah. I had a VCR there that was my sibling, my VCR
God.
sibling.
So the second generation of Pokemon was Gold and Silver on the Game Boy Color, were released in 1999. This took place in Johto, which was based on the Kansai region of Japan. There was also a third edition called Pokemon Crystal, which introduced the ability to choose your player's gender.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know any, like...
Yeah, this is where I dropped off.
Yeah, no, I didn't touch a Pokemon game again for a very long time.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything with the cards. I watched a lot of my friends with the cards, and I had one friend who had a binder full of cards who actually knew the rules to the card game, but none of them played it. Like, he was the only friend that knew the rules, and all the others had these collections.
Yeah.
And, like, he even had his, I guess they're the equivalent of mana cards, like, in his...
Energy cards, yeah.
Yeah, the energy cards in the freaking, like, protective sleeves in the binder. Like, as if those cards mattered and weren't just garbage. But, he, again, still didn't play with them. Nobody that I knew. And by then, this is middle school. This is, like,
oh, wow.
6th grade. I'm pretty sure it's very possible the year I got Pokemon was actually 6th grade and not 5th grade, but so it might have been middle school, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like, knew plenty of kids that had cards, and I just did not get into that. I was too busy spending my money on Star Wars customizable card game cards, and also not knowing how to play that game, and not knowing anybody else who plays it, and just buying the cards because they look cool.
I had a lot of the cards, and there was a comic shop called the Comic Chest that they held Pokemon card league tournaments every Saturday, and my mom knew someone who worked there, so we got to go. And I
don't think you got to go just because she knew someone that worked there, like... Or are you saying your mom would take
My mom
you
would take us because, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's not like you needed an in to get into these secret underground Pokemon League tournament card games.
Yeah. Fun fact, being in that Pokemon League tournaments and hanging out with people, with other kids at the comic shop, was my very first encounter, now that I remember, with mansplaining. Because there was a kid, he was about, I think, a year older than me, and he was like, "You're not even a real Pokemon fan." And I was like, "Yeah, I am." And he's like, "I bet you didn't know that Ekans is just snake spelled backwards." And I was so pissed off, because of course I knew Ekans was snake backwards. Everybody knew that. And I just, like, tore him to shreds.
But did you know that Arbok is Cobra spelled backwards?
Yes.
With a K?
Incorrectly spelled backwards, yeah. Yeah, and that's when you realize they're not very creative at naming these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Bellsprout is just... It's a bell-shaped plant.
Yeah.
That is the sprout form of that plant. It is the sprout.
God, when I was really, really heavy into the anime, I remember being at a baseball game with my dad and seeing a bunch of pigeons up in the sky, and I said, "Oh, look at all those and I couldn't remember for a second which word was the real bird and which word was the fake bird. Are they Pidgeys or pigeons?
I mean, to be fair, we should just all call pigeons Pidgeys.
It's a cute word, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we say kitty. We have like a dozen words for cat. We can call pigeons Pidgeys. It's fine.
Burbs.
Well, burbs.
It's
all
burbs.
No, I want. So my biggest thing, and actually my biggest gripe, I guess, about the anime side is it didn't really air on weekends, from what I remember. Or if it did air on weekends, it was. So my parents had. Like, I could not watch TV before. Well, first of all, I barely woke up in time to catch the bus. But even if I did wake up early, like, I could not watch TV on weekday mornings before school, because it was like, just fucking get ready and go to school. What are you doing? Why are you trying to watch TV? And on the weekends, like, my parents weekend mornings, like my parents did not want me to turn the TV on before 7 because usually it made too much noise and they were trying to sleep in a little bit. And I had to turn off the TV by 10 a.m. So after 10, it was, either you can play video games if the weather's shitty. But for the most part, like, go play with your Legos, go out and run around and ride your bike or do something else. But, like, don't sit around watching TV all day. So Pokemon, either on the weekends, if it did come on, I really don't know. It was either before 7 a.m. or it was after 10. And that always really pissed me off because Pokemon was, like, never on when I could watch TV. And on the weekdays, it came on basically right before... This might have even been high school by this point. Like freshman year of high school by now. Because I was riding my bike to school most days. And it was like... I remember... Maybe this was even 8th grade, right before high school. I might have been riding my bike. I remember, like, trying to sneak, like, 15 minutes of trying to watch this show because it was like for years I had remembered like I've caught like 5 episodes total of Pokemon and there's like 150 episodes now and I'd really like to see this show that all my friends have talked about for years and I still could not watch it just because of the times that it came on. And there was like this one like 3-month period where for some reason I think I just got cable in my room and I managed to like go downstairs, eat breakfast, do the whole like show so that my dad would think I'm up and getting ready for school and then be like, oh, I got a couple things to do upstairs before I hit my bike and ride to school. And I'd like run back upstairs and like watch Pokemon for 15 minutes and hope that I didn't time it wrong to where I went up there and a commercial was running. And like that's it. That's all of the anime I got to watch up until probably after high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I introduced you to a lot of anime, didn't I?
No, I just made the Pokemon anime. I watched a shit ton of anime before I met you.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Oh my god.
You don't know what I did.
Okay.
You don't know me.
Okay. Yeah, no, I do remember Pokemon coming on later in the day on Saturday morning, on WB at least. That's where I watched it.
So it must have been after 10. It must have been like, or at 10. It's very possible that I was just bitter as fuck and it actually literally came on at 10. And that is literally when I had to shut the TV off.
If I remember correctly, at least on the channel where I watched it, Pokemon was like the end of the Saturday morning cartoon programming line. Because that's the one that all the kids are going to tune in to watch.
Yeah.
So they're going to play it last. I watched it obsessively. See, my mom had a completely different policy. It was whatever, watch TV all day.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because she didn't want you to cross the street. So it's like, if you're in here glued to the television,
I won't get in trouble.
You won't cross the street.
Yeah.
Get hit by a car or something.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
So yeah.
Most of my friends would like, especially I think specifically the 10 o'clock part of it. Most of my friends would look at that and be like, "What is wrong with your parents?" Like, don't they realize that like 10 o'clock is like when the best cartoons come on?
Yeah.
Like noon. Like most of my friends were like, "I can understand noon." This is us even as like relatively young children sitting here rationalizing this. Like, oh yeah, I can understand noon, but it's like. Yeah, and now look at me. I'm a grown-ass adult, and on most Saturdays, I'm lucky if I'm started my day by 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we're the worst. So Gen 3 was Ruby and Sapphire on the Game Boy Advance. And that came out in 2002.
Yeah.
And the special edition for that one was Emerald. This was in Hoenn, based on the Kyushu region of Japan. And it using the same engine as these games, they remade the originals as Fire Red and Leaf Green.
Oh, that's right. There
Yep.
was, yeah. That was the dumbest thing ever.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. It's weird to like. I mean, I guess I guess it's not done because they probably sold and did well, and it's fine.
That's why they keep doing it.
Well, so doing the remakes when it's like 3 generations later, I get that because it's like when you're going from like, oh, this game was on the Game Boy Advance all these years ago, and we've now gone from the Game Boy Advance to the DS to the 3DS, and it's like you literally can't get a console that plays Game Boy Advance games anymore. At least the DS can play a Game Boy Advance game. It kind of makes sense, like, hey, now might be a good time to do like a little reboot of one of those older ones. Especially now we've had a massive jump, right? Like, graphics have gone.
Yeah.
Like, the difference between the Game Boy Advance one and the Game Boy one isn't that huge. Maybe at the time it seemed really huge.
I've never played a Game Boy Advance, so I can't say.
I mean, I haven't... Oh, I've played a Game Boy Advance. They're better. Like, they're significantly better.
Yeah.
But I remember even getting... No, I'm on a roll, so I'm just going to go with this, but it's going to totally cut into your little history lesson.
Go ahead.
Diamond and Pearl, which we did buy.
Yes.
On the Nintendo DS. I think in Japan, they're actually running on Game Boy Advance, or they ran, at the very least, they're running on the same engine that the Game Boy Advance ones look at. So if you remember Diamond and Pearl, and remember the way they looked, and it's like, wow, like a Nintendo DS can play Mario 64. Why does Diamond... I guess this is just what Pokemon games are supposed to look like, because Diamond and Pearl look like slightly higher resolution versions of Red, Blue, or any of the others. Like, they don't look spectacular when you compare it to X and Y, which is... X and Y is spectacular in comparison.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't play Black and White, so Black and White might have made a huge jump to where it's actually using the DS. You're looking over your notes like you've got a correction to make on me.
No.
Oh, okay.
I was just seeing if like I had anything in here that did back up what you said, but I don't, so.
I'm getting this from Nick.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, because I asked Nick specifically, why do Diamond and Pearl look like garbage? Even though I am playing, Mario 64 on a Nintendo DS. And yeah, he explained exactly. Like, it's because Diamond and Pearl are using the same engine that the
Ruby Sapphire.
I don't know if it was Ruby Sapphire, because was there one more in between? Or did it go Ruby Sapphire straight to Diamond Pearl?
Diamond Pearl's next.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're basically just... Also, Diamond and Pearl, I think, was kind of weak.
Yeah.
Like, as far as the game goes, they didn't innovate or change much.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't play Black and White, but I think we missed out on something, because Black and White was the first one where it was like, oh, this one's so good, we're doing Black and White 2.
Yeah.
Like, we're doing a sequel within this whole system.
So yeah. On that, actually, yeah, Diamond and Pearl on the DS was in 2006.
Yeah.
And again, using this engine, they released remakes Heart Gold and Soul Silver. This Diamond and Pearl was based in the Sinnoh region, which is Hokkaido in Japan.
Did you skip Gold and Silver? No, I guess you did mention that.
Yeah, no, that was the one with Pokemon Crystal, was the special third one.
That's right. Was there a special third one for Diamond and Pearl? I feel like there was.
See, at first I thought Crystal was, but that was for Ruby Sapphire.
Right.
The wiki did not say anything.
Ruby Sapphire?
Yeah.
What happened to Gold and Silver?
Yeah, sorry, Gold Silver had the third as Crystal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my bad. Oh, Emerald was Ruby Sapphire.
Ruby and Sapphire are the reboots of Red and Blue.
No.
No?
No. Ruby and Sapphire was Gen 3.
Oh, what are the reboots of Red and Blue?
Fire Red and Leaf Green.
Oh, okay.
For Red and Green, yeah.
Right.
So yeah, Diamond and Pearl, yeah, that was the first Pokemon game I picked up since Pokemon Yellow. And you sold me on it just on the merit that you could have a penguin as a starter.
Oh yeah, that is true. There was Piplup.
Yeah. Piplup was completely worth it, I think.
Really? That's what sold you? Not the fact that your future husband said, hey, we could get this game that we could play together and relive our childhoods and be cute and bundle up together.
I mean, that is eventually what we did.
Yeah,
but
I definitely sold... No, you're right. I remember. I sold it to you that way, and you were like, nah, I don't really care about Pokemon. And I was like, you can get a fucking penguin. And you were like, let's go to Walmart tonight.
Yeah.
And buy it.
I had no idea there was a penguin Pokemon. Yeah, I had a falling out with Pokemon after they dumped Brock from the show and brought on Tracy. I watched a few more episodes and I just got bored with it, and then I guess I went through that stage where
you're a big Brock supporter.
Oh my god, Ben.
You're a big Brock fan.
Yeah.
What?
Well, no.
You think I'm going somewhere with this?
I thought... never mind.
No.
I thought you were saying Barack.
No, Barack. No, if anything, I'd go like Brock Lesnar or something like that.
Oh.
I don't even know who that is. I just know it's a name that people say.
Thanks, Sheila. No, I got to it. That was when I got to an age where I wanted to say that I was all grown up, and I watched adult violent anime.
You watch Bastard.
I didn't. I haven't. But
and Aeon Flux.
I haven't watched that either.
And Fully Cool.
I did watch that on Adult Swim. So yeah, so that was probably the same time is when that was on Adult Swim that I just kind of dumped Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon and
Naruto.
I never watched Naruto. So yeah, you convinced me to get Pearl and you got Diamond. We got the freaking strategy guide.
Yeah.
We bought the strategy
because
guide.
I wanted to go full blown, balls to the wall, relive my childhood. And when I had, at the time, when Red and Blue came out, like the only way to keep track of anything was to have the strategy guide. Because I mean, the internet was in its fledgling years. I'm sure there were plenty of other kids that probably knew more. Like there was some online guides and stuff, but it was very few and far between. And again, this is the age of my parents had shit on lockdown.
Yeah.
So the amount of time I could spend on AOL was like a couple hours a night, and all the parental controls were up, which incidentally just blocked like 90% of all websites just cuz.
Yeah.
They didn't have to necessarily have anything bad. So I didn't, for the most part, I don't know if there were any Pokemon related websites that would have helped me be able to play the games better. And also, like, I just didn't bother trying, because for the most part I didn't bother trying doing anything on the internet, because nine times out of 10 it didn't work. So the only thing I did on the internet was chat with my friends, which also was like more important than anything else, because it's like, well, I only have 2 hours to sit here and RP with you guys and chat, so I'm going to make the most of my 2 hours and not try to log on and look up shit about Pokemon when I can just have a book that tells me everything I need to know about the game.
Yeah.
So that was literally my experience with Pokemon. So I wanted to very much, like, we were kind of going through some shit when we were living in Franklin.
Yeah.
And like I was depressed and didn't really have anything super cool or fun to look forward to.
Franklin was a hell city.
Yeah.
Hell town.
So this idea that I could like recreate this moment from my childhood, I clung to that.
Yeah.
Which involved recreating all of it, including buy the book. Little did I realize, like I just bought the book like point blank. I get home and I'm flipping through it. And one of the main things I liked about having the book is there was a section in the original one. Same company too. I think there's like one major publisher of Nintendo strategy guides.
I would think it would be Nintendo.
No, they're not Nintendo.
Oh.
I can't remember the name of them off the top of my head suddenly now, but it is like the same publisher. But what I liked about the original is not just the walkthrough. I tried to avoid using the walkthrough. What I liked was there was a section that had all 151 Pokemon, their number, their like basic idea of stats, and I think like what location you found them on most frequently. The new strategy guide did not have any of that, or at least it wasn't laid out in that nice way where it's literally just here's a page full of Pokemon, and here's all the Pokemon that are in this game. That does not exist in the Diamond Pearl strategy guide. In the Diamond Pearl strategy guide, it's just like the walkthrough.
Yeah.
And I think it might say, like, when you get to Route whatever, here's some of the Pokemon you'll find on this route.
But it's not all of them.
Yeah, it's not. It might be all of them. It might list all of them that are there, but it's just a list. I want the pictures. I want the, just the info about them. I basically want the Pokedex entries in a book. I didn't want to have to play the game to get the Pokedex entries. Is what it really boiled down to.
Well, thank goodness today we have Cerebi.net to give us everything we want.
Yeah, I know that now. Now I don't actually have to play a Pokemon game. I can just look up any Pokemon I want if I just want mindless stats.
Yeah. By the way, it's Prima.
Prima strategy guide.
Yeah,
that's it.
They still sell them on Amazon.
Yeah. Because they made a ton of... They were like the strategy guide people for official strategy guides.
Mm-hmm.
They might still be. I think if you go to a Barnes & Noble, you can still buy Prima strategy guides.
Probably, yeah.
At least 4 or 5 years ago when I looked, you could. So I don't know if that's changed.
Yeah, so you and I, we got Diamond and Pearl. And we spent entire weekends sitting on the couch together, eating Subway, and playing Pokemon on our DS and saying, oh, I caught this one, did you catch this one yet? And us being like, oh, we need to trade. I never finished it.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first Pokemon game I ever finished in my life was...
XY.
XY.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Because I always got caught in the spiral of, I gotta go off and find all the Pokemon, and I just drop the plot.
Yeah.
And then I just get bored and move on to something else, which is the problem I'm having with Sun Moon right now, and I need to break that because I want to finish Sun Moon.
Yeah, XY did a phenomenal job. And I think this is a kind of a universal agreement. Like, everybody who played XY and has played other Pokemon games recognizes that they changed something.
Yeah.
And they did it very well. They changed something in the pacing. And because the story isn't necessarily super compelling, but I think it's the layout and the pacing keeps you moving the plot forward, and you never really feel the need to just drop it, go and get in that spiral where you're like, oh, I gotta drop it and go hunt for Pokemon, and then you get bored of doing that. And that's, like I said, a lot of critics of the game have said that it's just, for whatever reason, they got it right and changed it. Sun and Moon seems to be trying to capture that same. I feel like it's doing it. I've just been bad because I haven't sat down and just played Sun and Moon at all. Like, I haven't.
We've been so busy because we're adults now.
Yeah.
It sucks.
I was an adult when I played XY. So.
Barely. We were barely. Oh, XY. Never.
2 years ago.
I was thinking Diamond Pearl. We were barely adults then. Well, hold on. You're jumping ahead. Okay. So the 5th generation was Black and White, which was also on the DS. That was released in 2010, and that takes place in the Unova region, which is based off of New York City. Another reason why we should go, just go get it and play it after we finish Sun Moon.
Wait, why is that a reason?
I don't know, I just think that's interesting.
That it's based off New York City.
Yeah.
Northern Virginia, Unova.
I think we're more likely to get a Fallout game. Shit, wait, there's already a Fallout game in Northern Virginia. Specifically Richmond. We're not really Northern Virginia, we're Central Virginia.
We're literally the middle of Virginia.
Yeah. Fallout 3 is literally Northern Virginia.
Yeah, and Maryland. I think it's more Maryland heavy.
It's just DC in general.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But that, the DC... The culture of Northern Virginia close to DC is like more Maryland-like culture than Virginia-like culture.
Oh man, it is. So yeah, Black and White. And then the next gen after that is X and Y, which was on the 3DS, released in 2013, as well as the remakes Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Oh, okay.
X and Y take place in the Kalos region, which is based on France.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, X and Y.
I think that might be the best Pokemon.
It was really well done. It was really well made. Pokemon Ami first started.
Yeah.
Like, okay, no, that's why it was the best game. You can pet your goddamn
finally get to
Pokemon.
pet Pikachu.
You can pet your Pokemon.
The
And-
voice actor who played Pikachu gets more royalties every time you pet them.
Yes, good. You feed them little cupcakes and play mini games, and it made me really happy.
Can you believe that's the only Pokemon who's ever gotten a voice?
Meow.
Pikachu. Nope. Pikachu. In a game. Pikachu is the only Pokemon who has ever gotten a voice in a game. In a game.
Right.
A human voice actor plays Pikachu in the Pokemon games.
Yeah.
And it's because Pikachu's the most popular and is their icon. So they paid the voice actor. In the shows, obviously, that's different.
Oh my god, you're right.
Also, in the shows, there is a dedicated voice actor for Pikachu and obviously Meowth. The rest of the Pokemon is often just like other people just making the noises. One of the creators at one point in the early show just made a bunch of the fucking noises.
Now, to be fair, at least in the original run of the first series that took place in the Kanto region, Jigglypuff had a voice actor, and I know this because I had her signature.
Right, okay.
I met her at NecoCon. And
Are you sure she only did Jigglypuff and wasn't also Pikachu?
She only did Jigglypuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She signed my Jigglypuff card, and I got to say hi.
Do you still have that card?
God, I hope I do.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
That seems like one of the only things of... That should be framed. Or
Yeah,
sell
it
it
should.
on eBay.
Nah, frame it. Oh, yeah, Jigglypuff was one of my favorites back then. But yeah, no, so we're both in agreement that X and Y did a really, really good job.
Yeah.
It really did reinvigorate the franchise. I feel like there was a huge explosion when that was announced, and people were very happy. We had that battling system with the 3DS. You could battle with people all over the world, which was really cool.
Oh, yeah. I
And
forgot
Wonder
about that.
Trading.
Yeah, Wonder Trading got brought in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, I say this and I don't know
I don't get shit. I
if any of that stuff was in Black.
don't know that either. Pretty sure it wasn't in Diamond and Pearl.
No, it was. I don't think Wonder Trading was.
Yeah.
Wonder Trading might have been in Diamond and Pearl. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah,
because there definitely was like network stuff, network functionality.
there was. Yeah, because I remember we could go into GameStop and download a limited edition Pokemon or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I did not choose Pokemon as our topic because we knew a lot about the Origin games. I'll just say that.
Yeah. It's whatever.
So yeah, X and Y was a masterpiece. And then the latest gen is Sun and Moon, which released last year, 2016, for the 3DS, and it takes place in Alola, which is based on Hawaii.
Yeah.
And Ben has taken me to Hawaii twice, and so there's a few jokes in there that I really appreciate about them. Japan loves Hawaii, America loves Hawaii, and
Everybody loves Hawaii.
yeah, but it shows in kind of like the references and the in-jokes, like Professor Kukui. That's hilarious to me, and probably like only me, I don't know.
Why?
Knowing what Kukui nuts are.
Just because Kukui nuts?
They're laxatives.
I mean, yeah. Are you saying Professor Kukui's personality is a laxative? of some
No,
kind?
no, I just think it's funny that that's the name that they chose.
Well, I think it's also like a name that people
Oops.
would have, like,
I thought it was a reference to Kukui nuts.
I mean, I think it's a reference to the word kukui, which is a real word. It
Right,
could be
right,
a-
right. Mm-hmm.
That's, yeah. I mean, maybe that's it, right? Like, I haven't played enough of the game. Is he crazy? Is he a little nuts?
I don't think
maybe
so.
There's a joke there where it's like,
Well, I mean, he does train Pokemon shirtless.
yeah, he's Hawaiian. Like, half the characters are
Shit.
shirtless.
Yeah.
First of all, so far I have not met a what is the equivalent of the gym leader in this one? What are they called? Trial master? or something?
Trial Master, yeah.
I forget what they're called, but in any case, they have all been shirtless, male or female. They have all been like
Oh, yeah, they were
either
bikini tops.
either totally shirtless or they are wearing like a bikini-ish type. Yeah,
I mean, that's how you live.
yeah, that's the island life, man.
Yeah. I also appreciated how the Alolan character spoke in Pigeon.
Yeah.
That was great. I do like what I've played of Sun and Moon so far. I like that they tried to change things up. It's not the normal go to a city, go to the gym, go battle the gym master.
Yeah, no, the formula is completely different.
You have to go through trials.
Yeah.
Which is, I like it. I also like the island hopping in that you can fly on a Charizard to different islands.
Yeah.
I appreciate that about this.
And
also, your player character has the same smiling, dead-eyed face no matter what happens. So when, like, super serious cutscenes, you're just staring at the camera like, oh boy, I'm dead inside.
That's really disconcerting.
It is, yeah. The trading card game came out in Japan in 1996, following a US release in 1999. We kind of already covered that, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are you doing? What's with this history lesson?
Let me just finish. The anime began in 1997, which followed Ash Ketchum, and his Pikachu on his quest to be the very best.
Satoshi-san.
Yeah. The movie Mewtwo Strikes Back debuted in the US in 1999.
Please tell me you're not going to run through all the movies.
No, God, no, there's too many. I think there's like 3, but that's too many.
Is the series still running? That's the more important question.
Yes, they're in Alola right now.
Okay.
The animation has gotten much better.
Yeah.
It has definitely gone very well.
Ash Ketchum has aged like a year or 2.
Yeah, they actually aged him.
No, he has phases. I've seen picture comparisons where they've shown where he has aged, and it's one of those things where, like, I don't know how many seasons we're up to now, like 15.
Yeah.
And it's like 5 seasons basically equates to like a year and a half almost of his life or something like that.
Wow.
Like, it's not super precise math, but basically it takes a good 4 or 5 seasons, and then all of a sudden he has like a pretty major change in like his mostly it's an outfit change. It's because it's a cartoon, it's hard to tell if they bothered to do like a height change or anything else, but it's like a stylized change, but that's kind of agreed to be him aging, essentially.
Huh.
So it's been in the Pokemon world, his journey has been a couple of years, like a few years, maybe 3 or 4 years.
It's been 2 decades for us.
Yeah. Hey, look, that's better than Bart Simpson.
Oh yeah, boy howdy.
I mean, we had to sit there and grit our teeth and watch and ask if Bart Simpson was going to pass or fail Mrs. Krabappel's class and have to repeat the
like
fourth.
Season 2.
Yeah, repeat the 4th fucking grade. And like, guess what? He passes and he's still in the 4th fucking grade, and it's 25 years later. Like,
anyway,
as far as I'm concerned, in the Simpsons timeline, that episode.
That's where the loop.
No, that episode is the last episode.
It has
of
to
the
be.
entire series. And they just aired it way too early, out of order.
So yeah, no. Mewtwo Strikes Back, 1999. That was a big fucking deal for me.
That's where Mewtwo learns love, right?
Yeah.
It's human compassion.
Yeah, that's where Ben Carson lived in part of his campaign speech.
Oh. Right. What did he say?
I don't remember. I just remember, God. That was, and then Jon Stewart used another line from the movie. Fuck. No, that movie was a big deal for me because that was when I was at the height of my Pokemon hype, and there were limited edition Mew cards. I got one of those.
Oh yeah.
Probably it's gone.
No, I think you still have that one.
Oh,
if
God.
you have the other card, I think you have Mew card.
Okay, good. I owned it on VHS when it came out. I own the soundtrack on CD. I also own To Be a Master, by the way.
Yeah, we still have To Be a Master.
We still have To Be a Master. Oh, yes. I still remember all the songs in this in my head now, and oh, they're terrible. They're so bad.
That's going in my car CD player. That's my new jam.
Cool, good.
Every morning
You're gonna get so sick of the road to Radiant City over and over and over and
what
over.
Was I saying?
I don't remember.
Pokemon in the big city. Same thing, right? game.
Yeah, sure.
Close
It's
enough.
the same thing. So here's one tidbit I found. That was something that I vaguely recall happening, but I think I blocked it out of my head because it was so bad.
Yeah.
From 2000 to 2002, an anime-based musical called Pokemon Live with exclamation points was shown on stage around the world. This was an American thing.
Who let us do that?
They had people dressed up in giant Pokemon costumes and as the main Ash, Misty, and Brock, and yeah, it was a musical show. And the most memorable plot point in the musical was the revelation that Ash's mother, Delia, used to be a friend of Giovanni when they were younger. Giovanni was the main villain of the first series.
Okay.
The musical isn't considered canon, but it sparked endless theories among fans regarding the identity of Ash's father. I vaguely remember the advertisements for Pokemon Live being on TV, but I hated the idea of it so much that I completely forgot about it.
Yeah, on principle.
Yeah, adults playing 12-year-olds.
Oh, I just meant the fact that it's there's giant... I'm imagining that there was no scale, and it's just the giant Pikachu costume is the same size as the giant Squirtle costume is the same size as the giant Onyx costume. Maybe they got Onyx right? Maybe Onyx is a really big puppet, just a stage-sized puppet.
Oh god!
That would be cool.
Look at it. Oh, it's so bad.
Oh, there's a little scale.
The Venusaur is pretty cool.
Gigantic.
Yeah.
Wow, so this was late enough out that there's Chikorita and
in the background.
Whatever the post-Electabuzz is.
Yeah, the Gen 2 Pokemons are on the background, but yeah.
It looks like a young Keanu Reeves playing Ash, from Bill and Ted's
Yeah.
Adventure.
Oh boy, the Meowth and the Pikachu are nightmare fuel.
Yeah. Was there ever a Pokemon on ice? That just seems right for an ice show.
Seems like that should have been a thing, but
I mean, there's so much Disney on ice that I don't know who else really did on ice things.
No, there was no Pokemon on ice.
All I knew was Disney on ice.
There's just ice-type Pokemon, page after page.
Was there a Mario on ice?
Oh my god.
Hey, Paisano! I gotta get my skates sharpened.
Mario Ice Capades is a show on ice loosely based off the Super Mario Brothers. It was seen on TV on Thursday, December 7th, 1989 on ABC.
Yes.
Okay, the show's about this now. The show begins with people playing Super Mario Brothers while Jason Bateman tells the plot of the game to Alyssa Milano, who has never played a video game before. Suddenly, the TV screen starts to glitch, and Bowser, as King Koopa, his American cartoon counterpart, played by Christopher Hewitt, appears on the screen. The rest of the show then takes place inside the game, where the background of the stage has props with pixelated clouds, coins, and castles. This is like a cosplay sketch. Bowser, while riding a moving fort, explains that his plan is to use the NES to infect computers with viruses. He proceeds to call out his minions consisting of 2 green Koopas.
Yes, I will use the great processing power of the Nintendo Entertainment System.
He uses 2 green Koopas
to infect all 10 personal computers on the planet with viruses.
2 Goombas, 1 Hammer Bro, 1 red Paratroopa, and a Spiny. He then raps about his diabolical nature.
It's 1989, so that's appropriate.
Riding his moving fort while the Koopa troop dances around him. Princess Toadstool.
Hey, spoilers alert, don't describe the whole thing. We'll watch it later. It sounds amazing.
Holy shit.
You don't need to sit here just reading.
Fine.
You've been reading a lot. What's your endgame on this?
I don't know. Well, I've got some discussion points coming up. So, now I want to talk about the cat. The spin-off games.
Uh-huh.
Pokemon spin-off games.
Not knockoff games.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Now, can you guess what the very first non-main Pokemon game was?
Pokemon Pinball.
No.
Pokemon... It's not going to be a mystery dungeon.
I'll give you a hint. Pokemon is not in the title.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
It's Picross NP Volume 1, Pokemon. It was available on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System in Japan in April 1999.
Oh, I never would have fucking known this.
Exclusively via the now defunct Nintendo Power Service, players used to be able to purchase a blank SF memory cassette or Game Boy memory cartridge and then download games onto them in Lawson stores across Japan from the Loppy machines for cheaper than the recommended retail price. Picross NP Volume 1 was the first in a series of 8 Nintendo-themed Picross games, which were not released in standard cartridge form and were exclusive to the service and were only for the SF memory cassette.
Wow.
The Nintendo Power Service was discontinued in 2007.
Huh.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first spin-off game.
That is the first non-Pokemon game where Pokemon show up. Now, the very first spin-off game that was released in America was Hey You Pikachu in 1998.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't there a Pokemon pinball game? I thought there was one on like the Game Boy or Game Boy Advance or something.
There was one for the Game Boy Color in 1999. That is when the first one showed up.
God.
I know, right?
No, my timing is just all off because I never think about like how far behind handhelds were to consoles for so long. Like the N64 being out and we were still in the era of Game Boy Color is weird to me. I thought N64 and Game Boy Advance were side by side, but that's not true because the hookup to the Game Boy Advance went to the GameCube, and I should remember that.
Yeah. Did you ever play Hey You Pikachu?
No, I never got to play that one.
So, for those who are too young to remember this, or tried to block it out, the Nintendo 64 tried to have a microphone functionality and only 2 games were made for it. And that was Hey You Pikachu, which was for a younger set, and Seaman, which was very obviously for older people, because he made sex jokes.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was a really creepy fish with a human man face who talked back to you.
It was the predecessor to Spore.
Yeah.
Not sort of, not really.
Yeah.
Kind of. Like that first section of Spore, like you're in the water and doing things, and you commanded the fish man, like with voice commands, and it just didn't work. It came with a microphone that you plugged into the slot on the back of the N64 controller.
Yes.
Yeah, the same way you plug in like a rumble pack.
Yeah, and then it bent up and you could talk into it. We rented Hey You Pikachu from Blockbuster and it came with the microphone. And I remember it being horrible. It did not work. It was so bad.
Yeah.
God, there was a minigame where you had to tell Pikachu to go get a very specific type of fruit.
Yeah.
And it was standing in a field of fruit. And so you'd say, Pikachu, go get the apple. And the Pikachu would just stare at you with a question mark over its head because the game didn't work. The next spin-off was Pokemon Stadium in 1998 for the Nintendo 64, which, by the way, the first one did...
So we haven't even hit Pokemon Snap yet.
Nope. Did not release in North America. We got the sequel in 2000.
Oh, that's why.
The main difference being the Pokemon sprites were in 3D.
You mean the first Pokemon Stadium was on the 64 and it wasn't 3D?
Correct.
That's weird. Wait.
Yeah.
No, that's really weird.
It is weird, yeah.
Also,
that's why
it's
we
weird
never
that
got
they
it.
use the term sprites.
Yeah.
But, okay.
There are 2 things that I remember about Pokemon Stadium, and that is I can play my Game Boy Color games on the TV now, and the Clefairy Memory minigame.
Wait, it had a cartridge slot?
It had
your Game Boy Color?
Yeah. There was a little adapter that you could buy to go with Pokemon Stadium, and you could put your Pokemon Yellow into it and play it on the TV.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Oh.
But also that and the Clefairy minigame. Where you had to, it was like Simon. It was like Simon. But you got to hear Clefairy, Clefairy, like 100 times. So there's that. Pokemon Snap, 1999 Nintendo 64. Once again, big fucking deal for me. Blockbuster still existed at the time. So you played as this kid who went and took pictures of Pokemon?
Yeah, it was an on-rails shooter.
Yes.
Yeah.
but you were shooting a camera, not a gun.
Well, yeah.
Well, you were shooting apples at Pokemon.
You could fire apples at Pokemon and hit them with them.
And then you could take your memory card back to the Blockbuster, and they would have a kiosk where you could push your game cartridge into it and print out stickers of the photos you took.
Yeah.
It was free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really crappy stickers.
Oh, they were so bad.
Weren't they like just like 1 inch, like 1 by 1?
Yeah, they were
photos?
smaller than a stamp.
Oh, so they weren't even 1 by 1.
Yeah, no, they were very small stickers. I remember that.
That resolution doesn't even make sense. How were you getting anything from that?
I was a dumb kid. I didn't care.
Gotcha.
God,
You
yeah.
should have been the kid that like saved and took pictures of not Pokemon. It's like of the skybox in the background and stuff, and then go print them up. And it's like, what is this? Like, you're not a real Pokemon.
It's art.
No, you just be like, obviously it's from Pokemon Snap. What kind of Pokemon fan are you? And there's no Pokemon in any of the images. It's like you just have to know what the skybox from Pokemon Snap looks like.
Yeah.
Find that kid that said you're not a real Pokemon fan.
Yeah. Go put the Pokemon Snap stickers all over his face. Pokemon Pinball for the Game Boy Color came out in 1999.
Okay, I knew there was a Pokemon.
Did you play Pokemon Pinball?
No, I just knew it
Oh.
existed.
See, I knew it existed too, and I never played it.
I have an approximate knowledge of all pinball spin-off games.
Oh, really?
No,
I'm about to say, you don't want to make that claim.
no, just Sonic Spinball and Pokemon Pinball.
Yeah. Pokemon Picross for the Game Boy Advance was announced in 1999, but was never released. Yeah. Pokemon Puzzle League for the Nintendo 64 in 2000, by the way, the only Pokemon game made for Western audiences and with no Japanese release. The sequel for Game Boy Color was released in Japan as Pokemon Puzzle Challenge in 2000. So Pokemon Puzzle League, that's the game we played at Mag Labs last year. Where it's sort of like...
Oh,
Puzzle Fighter?
It's the one where it's on a tube.
Yes.
Right? Like it's Tetris on a tube, so you can rotate the whole thing all the way around 360 degrees.
Yeah, it makes it more difficult.
Yeah, it made it. I couldn't do it at all.
I loved it.
My brain doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
Apparently.
so that you can, like, you'll end up working on one side of the two, getting all of your blocks taken care of, but you won't realize that they're stacking up on the other side.
Yeah, no, that's horrible.
Oh, I loved it. Okay, this one...
Thankfully, I think you could turn that mode off,
Mm-hmm.
and it just became a more traditional, like, puzzle fighter, but with Pokemon sprites, but yeah, obviously that's not the core mechanic of the game.
Yeah. This one is weird, and I want to see if we can find it, because we can still play Game Boy games on our Wii. Pokemon Channel in 2003 for the GameCube.
What? Where are you saying? You can't play Game Boy games.
GameCube.
Oh, okay.
GameCube games. It focused on a TV broadcasting network airing a variety of Pokemon programs, with the player playing the role of the test audience. The game also included a unique anime episode, Pichu Brothers and Party Panic. This game was also played in real time. So you had to tune in to these different channels at different times of the day to watch the programs when they were actually mini-games. Such as Smeargle's Art Study, paint your favorite scenes and have them evaluated by Smeargle. Shop and Squirtle.
So what it really means is I have to manipulate the clock on my Wii or GameCube.
GameCube, yeah, just like with Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Shop and Squirtle. Use purchase points to buy items for your room and make it more Pikachu-friendly.
Okay.
Play with your Pikachu. Pokemon Newsflash. Watch Psyduck deliver the news, while Meowth reports on location.
What is the name of this?
Pokemon Channel.
And this was released in America?
Yes, in 2003 for the Wii. I mean, not for the Wii, excuse me. For the GameCube.
Huh.
Pokemon Newsflash, Shop and Squirtle. Quiz Wobbuffet. A quiz show hosted by Wobbuffet. Smoochum Shape Up. An exercise program hosted by Smoochum. Slowpoke's Weather Report. Examination Hatch Up.
You can get it for like $8 on eBay.
Hell yes, let's do it. If you put it on the Marie Farm channel, your Pikachu will fall asleep.
Meanwhile, on Amazon, it's $80.
What the hell? It's not worth that. Oh boy. It also, if you had the European or Australian version of this game, this was the only way to get Jirachi for Ruby Sapphire.
Huh.
Jirachi will appear and the mini-movie will be shown above the campfire. The berry glitch in Ruby Sapphire can also be fixed. So yeah, I'd never heard of that before today, and I would like to play that mess.
No, I leave that one up to you. If you can find it, buy a copy.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Pokemon Coliseum debuted in 2003 for the GameCube. It was like Pokemon Stadium, but it also had an RPG element. There was also a sequel in 2005 called Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. So it was Pokemon Stadium, but with a story mode.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Pokemon Dash in 2004 for the DS, a racing spinoff.
Yeah.
Which I had no idea that was a thing, but in retrospect, it's pretty obvious. Pokemon Trotzy! Exclamation point.
Pokemon what?
Trotzy. Trozei.
What is that?
In 2005 for the DS is a puzzle game similar to Yoshi's Cookie.
Okay.
Yeah. There's also a sequel to that one. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. The first one was released in 2005 for the Game Boy Advance.
Really? Not till 05?
Mm-hmm.
That explains a lot more why, like, the first 5 of them are just rehashes of the same game.
Yeah.
Because they probably all released very close to each other.
Mm-hmm. And then Pokemon Ranger in 2006 for the DS utilized the stylus and touchscreen by having you draw a circle around the Pokemon instead of catching them with a ball. And it's supposed to be like you're using that circle to calm the Pokemon, and they're going to be your assistant, but you don't actually own the Pokemon because it's all based on conservation and scientific study. And they actually incorporated that into later seasons of the show.
Huh.
Yeah.
Did you have that one?
No.
Uh,
I watched one episode where they had the Pokemon Rangers in it, and I was like, what are these guys doing? Is this what the kids are doing now? That's not how you catch Pokemon. Pokemon Battle Revolution in 2006 for the Wii was another version of Coliseum or Stadium. Here's a good one. Pokemon Bat Trio in 2007 was an arcade game meant for younger fans with a scaled-down battle system. The machine cost 100 yen to operate for each player. A random puck is also dispensed from the machine per coin. The console itself has only 2 buttons for each player. An orange button that's used to cycle through options, and a larger yellow button used to confirm commands. Above these are a 4x4 grid that the pucks are placed on and manipulated as their positioning directly influences the position of the Pokemon on the battlefield. Between these grids in the center of the console is the infrared scanner used for scanning in pucks. It is an overly complicated arcade game. In
sure,
2000,
Japan loves those.
Yes. In 2012, it was replaced by Pokemon Treta, which also had the exact same puck mechanics and stuff, but you could also find and collect Pokemon.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still going strong.
Like it's still an arcade game?
Mm-hmm. It's still an arcade game.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. Pokepark Wii, Pikachu's Adventure in 2009 for the Wii, where you play as Pikachu and travel to different lands to play mini-games, Ben. I swear I've seen that in the shovelware bin. Did you know that there was a learn-to-type Pokemon game?
Yeah, Pikachu's typing.
What? I had no idea.
That's so old.
It was for the DS and it came with a keyboard.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. There's also Pokemon Art Academy, Pokemon Conquest, which is what I referenced earlier when you talked about the in ancient Japan using Pokemon to battle. Pokemon Conquest.
Oh, it's Dynasty Warriors, but with Pokemon, right?
Nobunaga's Ambition.
Yeah, it's Dynasty Warriors with Pokemon.
Yeah. Which that was a turn-based war strategy game, and they instead of fighting war with weapons, you fought them with Pokemon.
Yeah.
In this one, yeah.
Isn't the art stylized?
Yes.
differently?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a normal Pokemon game.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Finally, Great Detective Pikachu, Birth of a New Duo for the 3DS. Do you remember the trailer for that?
Yeah. Like, everybody got really excited about that, and then nobody ever talked about, like, did it release?
Here's the thing.
This is the one where it's voiced by Pikachu's voiced by Danny DeVito,
Well,
right?
we all wish it was, yeah.
My monster condom for my monster dog.
Magnum condom, but
Magnum condom for my monster dog.
God damn it. It was released in Japan in 2016. We do not have a release date for the USA yet.
That's why.
It's probably in localization hell right now.
Can I offer you a Pika in these trying times?
It stars a boy named Tim Goodman.
Tim Goodman.
He comes to Rhyme City and meets a bossy, easily infatuated, coffee-loving, talking Pikachu detective.
That's a lot of words.
Speaks English. They solve crimes by collecting evidence and solve mysteries together.
He speaks English? What localization's needed?
Well,
just fucking...
He will in our localization.
Oh.
He speaks human.
Yeah,
He's like
look at you. Normalizing...
Okay.
Saying that English is the primary.
Okay, I'm sorry. And finally, today we have Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Which Ben and I still play every day.
Mostly.
Yeah, I play every day.
Right.
I'm hatching eggs. I'm hatching 10-kilometer eggs still.
Yeah.
They're on the 2nd gen right now. They're adding new features. I don't know. I still love Pokemon Go.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's a thing to do when you don't have anything else to do.
When you're just walking anyway, you might as well hatch eggs.
Look, like, if I wasn't too embarrassed / paranoid to bring my DS to work every day and play an actual video game, like, yeah, Pokemon Go is great because I'm gonna have my phone with me.
Yeah, that's true. God. You remember how such a flash in the pan, big fucking deal when Pokemon Go came out? Like, it felt like half the world, or at least half the country, suddenly cared about Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then in a couple of weeks it was dead.
I don't know about that. I think it's still pretty big. I mean, we're almost a year in now.
We're getting close to a year since it was released.
And
I don't know, like a special edition Pikachus.
Yeah, I feel like people still, like, considering how many other video games, like, release and people play through them and then don't talk about them for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, we're getting revivals on things. Like, suddenly people are talking about Fallout a lot more, which is, like, specifically New Vegas, it seems like.
Yeah.
Which is really bizarre. I mean, the only things people have talked about consistently is, like, Overwatch, and that's just because it has no... There's nothing to beat with Overwatch. You just keep playing against other people forever.
And you get new hats.
And you get new hats. I mean, that's Team Fortress, but sure.
Yeah.
So, when you consider all that, it's like... I guess Pokemon Go kind of falls in that Overwatch category, where it's like there's nothing to beat. You just play forever, Pikachu gets new hats. I'd say people still... Maybe nobody talks about it, but I still, like, even at where I work in a hospital, and I see nurses and stuff, I occasionally, like, whip it out on an elevator and just be like, look, catch a Pokemon.
Well, I mean, we have 2 gyms at the hospital, and they are always being contested.
Yeah. So, like, people are clearly still playing.
Yeah.
It just hasn't, it's died down a bit.
Yeah. It's no longer the giant cultural revolution that it was back in June.
Yeah. It's because everybody's playing Mario
Run?
Jump and Run.
Mario Run and Sonic Jump. What's happening in the world?
Oh, really? I haven't seen Sonic Jump.
Yeah.
Are you being serious?
Yes, I am.
Is that a joke someone already made?
Yes.
Okay.
There's one other game series that heavily features Pokemon that I did not mention.
Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Super Smash Bros. Also had Pokemon in it.
Yeah.
So how could it not?
Yeah, they're like half the roster at this point. Is fucking Pokemon.
God, you're right, because there's Lucario and
Lucario, Mewtwo, Pikachu, Pichu.
Oh jeez.
Charizard is an independent, and also the Pokemon trainer with Charizard. I think Charizard's an independent. That might have been a hacked game that I was playing.
I don't remember.
I think I was playing a hacked game for that one. There's somebody who there's a few hacked versions of Super Smash Brothers Brawl.
It was probably Brawl.
It was Brawl, and I think because somebody, I guess they realized that Charizard has enough movesets that he's better as an independent character, and then they programmed in like 1 or 2 extra moves for him.
And I know when the items drop, if there's a Pokeball, that's the one I'm always going to run for.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though sometimes it can just be a Goldeen, which does nothing.
Oh yeah, Goldeen doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Which is weird because they could have used Magikarp for that, and it would have been a funnier joke.
Yeah. They pretty much had Goldeen do what Magikarp does.
Yeah. Does that happen though? I think in the anime that happens. Doesn't Misty at one point throw out Goldeen without
she's
thinking?
useless without water. Goldeen is useless if she's not in water.
Yeah, didn't that happen though in the show?
Yes, it did.
Where Misty was just like really not thinking and threw out Goldeen. It was like, oh right.
It's like, oh shit, sorry, get back in the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's so weird.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that translated in the game.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it's fine that it doesn't, but it's like, that's the weirdest part about playing the 3D games, like since XY, is, you have this you get to see the battlefield, and you get to see the Pokemon like standing there as opposed to just their silhouette or their little portrait. And like, seeing all of my fish Pokemon just hovering over the grass for no reason is a little weird most of the time. And then in fact, even when you are using like Surf and you're by the water or on the water, your Pokemon still just hover over the water. Like, they didn't come up with a separate animation where the Pokemon is like, oh look, I'm in my natural environment now, and like have the Pokemon like in the water or something. It's like, no, they just kind of hover here. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But
I have one more question for you, Ben.
Okay.
I just thought about.
Okay.
Did you ever memorize the Poke Rap?
No. No, we've been through this.
Yeah, I did.
I know.
The entire thing.
You had the soundtrack, of course you did.
Yeah, I'm not proud, but also I am proud of that.
Well, yeah, I know. You literally use that as your mnemonic device when I ask you about, like, remembering a Pokemon.
Electro Diglett.
Don't.
I wasn't gonna keep going. I promise. Any other thoughts on Pokemon, dear?
It's United Generations.
That's true.
Pretty, I don't know. When you really sit down and think about it, like, it's kind of ridiculous how much and how well it's done. Like, it's almost bizarre. When you say it's second to Mario, I'm kind of like, you sure? Like, I kind of, like, maybe just as the franchise as a whole.
The franchise as a whole, yes.
I think it surpasses, like, a lot of things. I can't think of really anything else that keeps up with Pokemon in that way.
Wow, yeah, actually.
Yeah, and it's so stupid. Like, it's not... like, saying that out loud just sounds so dumb. But it's like, no, I think it really... I don't know. It's pretty impressive.
Well, because it keeps reinventing itself and adding to itself and making itself, like,
and
new for the next
saying
generation.
That is giving it way too much credit, because the whole principle of the thing is gotta buy them all. Like,
yeah.
That's really what it is. But you're not wrong. But it also sounds ridiculous to say that, like, in this very intellectual way, like, oh, they keep reinventing themselves and all that. It's like, it's this money-making machine, and they've done an amazing job with it. But at the same time, I don't blame them for creating this money-making machine, because they've also brought massive amounts of joy, and just, like, there's good messages there, and there's just fun times to be had there. So, and you don't actually have to get into... It's not like a hobby that you have to dump a bunch of money into to enjoy. But, and yet, as a franchise, it still continues to make tons of money.
Yeah.
So it's this... They found that, like, really good sweet spot where I don't blame them for making a money-making machine. Because, I don't know, it's just weird. It's weird that it has worked and continued to work for all these years and spanned so many generations.
Because it's cute.
Sure, that's simplifying it a lot.
Can you imagine what would have happened if they had decuted the original Pokemon? I don't think it would have caught on.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, people like Monster Hunter,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not nearly as popular as Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's about the best example I can think of a decuted Pokemon is Monster Hunter.
Yeah, because Digimon is still kind of cute.
No, Digimon is very intentionally cute. Also, it's different. Monster Hunter is still a lot of collecting. You don't collect... First of all, I can't name a Digimon game. And the whole point of the Digimon series is not, we're going to go around and collect these monsters. The point of Monster Hunter is, we're going to go around and collect these monsters.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's got it right there in the title.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I agree with you that it does, like, branch generations, and, like, I do remember seeing little kids playing Pokemon Go, and older adults playing Pokemon Go at the same time, and, I mean, other than that one time one kid shot another kid to get his Charizard card, I think Pokemon has overall done a lot of good, socially.
I forgot that's a thing that happened. Why didn't you bring that up when we were talking about the card game?
I forgot. Yeah, so in the 90s, people were horribly obsessed with collecting, even though there was no way that any of this was going to turn a profit, like Beanie Babies.
Well, it turned a profit for the people who got in and got out very quickly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's just like Beanie Babies. Like, there's people... Like, that's a whole other topic, is collecting. People collecting shit in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but yeah, no, I remember the foil... The shiny foil Charizard card was touted as being super rare, and then like a year later, everybody had a dozen of them.
I remember one selling at the comic chest for $100, so, like, it couldn't have possibly been that rare.
Oh, I think they hit higher than that at the very peak.
They probably did, like, especially on eBay.
I almost have to wonder if the backlash of a kid shooting a kid for one, maybe the Wizards of the Coast or whoever.
Yeah, it was Wizards of the Coast, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they were just like, fuck it, print a ton of them.
Yeah.
Just flood the market with these foil Charizard cards because we don't want to have that blood on our hands.
The only holograph foil card I ever had was a Venomoth, which who gives a shit about Venomoth?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
You had a shiny Venomoth.
I had a shiny Venomoth.
The card game actually invented shinies.
Oh, shit, you're right.
Maybe, I have no
No, that translates. That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Damn, I can't believe you put that together and I didn't. So I think that's gonna do it for us on this April Fool's Day episode of The Gorge.
What are you talking about?
No, this is where we actually talk about our real podcast.
I'm committed to the joke.
I'm not. So we are Ben and Sarah from Good News with Ben and Sarah. Your normal Ben and Sarah are doing our show this week, where it's a family-friendly, heavily researched show. So they got the short end of the stick.
I guess you sat here and researched every fucking Pokemon game that was ever made.
It was fun.
For you.
I didn't have.
Hopefully the audience is awake now.
Oh my god!
You know, just so you know, we're almost done.
Wow. Thanks, honey. Anyway, yeah, you can find our podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud. It's Good News with Ben and Sarah, except my name is spelt with an H, S-A-R-A-H. If you want to contact us, it's goodnewsbensarah@gmail.com. We also have a Twitter, it's Good News Ben Sarah, and a Facebook page. I also have a project called Warrior Cats Cast, a Warrior Cats podcast, where I read and review.
Hold on. Warrior Cats Cast, a Warrior Cats podcast. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You said that very quickly, and it's a lot of mouth.
I'm sorry. I have a lot of fun saying it quickly.
Right.
Warrior Cats Cast, a Warrior Cats podcast.
There you go.
Which I read and review the Warriors series of young adult books for the first time, and then yell about them for an hour.
Yeah.
So it's got 69 listens right now.
Yeah.
Nice. That's all of our major projects for now, so thank you to other Ben and Sarah for letting us talk about Pokemon for an hour and a half and curse and let loose on our podcast for once.
Yeah, and if you're one of our regular listeners, and if other Ben and Sarah curse on our podcast, we apologize in advance for that. But it's all a good goof.
It's all a good goof. Happy April Fool's Day.
And we apologize if this was not what you were expecting to tune into.
If this was the most boring episode of The Gorge ever, I apologize. I don't think we were boring. I don't know. Yep, so thank you to whoever makes the music for this podcast. And
I'm sure Ben will pipe that in.
uh-huh. And thank you to anybody who listens to this and decides to go listen to our podcast in advance. Thank you. And that's it.
Yep.
Fuck Gary.
What? Gary's so nice.
Fuck Gary.